Εξομολογήστε το Κύριο διαγρατός, αλληλούια, ότι στον αιώνα το έλεος αυτού, αλληλούια.
Actually, do you mind if we have a discussion? So, I've got a question. Now, it's to test an argument. So,
don't block the camera.
so my apologies.
No, you can start.
Yeah, okay. So,
Look, we have to have a respectful discussion.
yeah, so there's two issues I have with Islam in terms of new argumentation. One is going to be philosophical, and one is going to be issues of what it means within the Sunnah of the Prophets to die. So, firstly, the definition, what do you take the definition of death?
The definition of death is when soul
Separates from the body. Now,
let me finish the answer.
yes,
It's separate from the body.
yes.
That's what death is.
Okay, so would you say that Isa bodily assumed to Allah, or would you say that Isa assumed spiritually or through the soul?
We say bodily.
So if you were to say bodily, if he is with Allah, according to Quran chapter 3 verse 55, you would then have to say that Allah lives within a state of temporality.
Allah?
Yes, because it says in Quran chapter 3 verse 55 that he was ascended to him, and it's understood that Isa is currently with Allah and he's outside the heavens itself.
Yeah,
Now, if you give an account that Allah is not some material person and that he is atemporal and above existence itself, you then have to say that he is in a state, or he lives in a state of temporality.
Allah?
Yes. Well, why do you not
Where do you
follow?
get that? Why are you comparing Allah to Jesus?
Because in
Quran.
Quran chapter 3 verse 55,
Yeah.
it says that Christ was assumed to Allah. Now, if this statement is true, this then entails that Allah lives in a mode or reality of temporality, which would then follow that Allah is material.
Yeah, when it says Allah took him himself,
Yes.
it doesn't mean that exactly where Allah is.
So
Doesn't mean
what?
that.
So where are you exactly getting it within the text? Because it says that he is assumed to Allah, and when it's saying to, it's saying to the subject of Allah himself, and it's not saying to one of the heavens, for example. And there's no early commentaries which would posit that he is in like a different heaven to which he is not in.
How do you know that he's with Allah actually?
Because the text directly tells me in a verbatim statement that he is with Allah,
but no one-
and if he
no
is
one-
with Allah, and that this is a bodily assumption, this then entails that Allah lives in a reality of temporality.
Okay. Because Allah, because Allah,
Okay, thank you.
no one shares the same place with Allah. No one shares.
Yeah, you can give that as a refutation, but that's just going to lead to a contradiction when you say an exclusive statement, which
Where's
is
the
trying.
angels then?
When the angels
Where,
is,
where,
these
where
are just
then?
going to be in different heavens.
So Jesus can't be different heavens?
Well, if you want to spotlight the absurdity of my argument, and you're not actually refuting the substance of the argument itself, that's just spotlighting
you
the
said-
absurdity of your own
No, but
theology.
you said because Jesus is there, that means he has to be like close to Allah. So I'm asking you, where's the
If he
angels?
is with
What about
Allah,
the angels?
if he is with Allah,
What about the angels?
so firstly, let's just, sorry if I'm mischaracterizing the Sunni position, but you affirm to a mahab that says that Allah is above his throne, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Because the throne exists whilst God himself is above existence. If that is true, if Jesus bodily assumes to Allah, that means then Allah lives in a space of temporality or
No.
somewhere which is material.
No. When he says that Allah took him to himself, it means wherever he is, Allah kept him there. Because
Where is he getting that?
wait.
Where are you getting that from the text?
Because that place, when Allah says he took him to himself, we know that place cannot be the place where Allah is. Because Allah shares that glory unto himself alone.
Okay.
I'm going.
Yeah.
Let me finish here. Yeah. Just like in the angels, when they are in heaven, they also have their own specific place where they are at. They are not with Allah like that, close to each other. Yeah. So they are in a certain place. So Jesus as well, even though the text doesn't tell us, we know that by reading, in the Quran, Allah doesn't share any closeness to anybody. We know that he's placed somewhere where he's not close to Allah.
Okay.
If he says that he raised him unto himself, it's not talking about actually.
That is
close
a
to him.
really bad.
No, it's not.
Wait,
It's not. Because
hold on.
angels are also
Hold on.
there.
That is a very bad form of monus ponus,
Why
which
do they use
already
angels as well?
assumes that the Quran is necessarily true.
Why do they use angels as
So
well?
you're saying that because the Quran is true necessarily, if it says something which could possibly be a contradiction, it must be giving an account for itself on how it's not incorrect. Therefore, you're reading into the text what it should mean if the Quran is true.
Where do you get this
so
idea
one
from?
second, you're interrupting me.
Where do you
Just
get it-
one second.
Oh, yeah, go on.
1 second. So this inference rule of monus ponens, if the Quran is true, and if Allah is above temporality, therefore it follows that Jesus, although it doesn't say in the text, is in a different heaven to which he initially was. That is unfounded because it's already assuming that the Quran is true. My second point is that you're reading into the text. In Quran chapter 3 verse 55, it says that Isa either spiritually or bodily assumed to where Allah was, which then means he is above the throne of Allah, which would then mean Allah.
Where does he say that?
But, well, if it's
Where does it say in the Quran?
Quran chapter 3 verse 55.
Does it say that he's in same throne with Allah?
You were literally quoting the verse.
Does it say
Yes.
Jesus is sharing the same throne as Allah?
Not the throne, I said above the throne.
Does it
Because
say that?
Allah is not in his throne.
Does it
see?
say that?
With Allah, yes.
Where? Show it to me now.
Quran chapter 3 verse 55.
What, is sharing the same throne?
I did not say share the throne, because
What did you
Allah
say
is,
then?
I said above his throne.
Okay.
Because that's the mode of existence.
So you're saying Jesus is above the throne with Allah?
Yes.
Where does it say that? Surah
Quran
3,
chapter 3 verse
it's not
55.
there.
Well, let's see what happens. You know, just a quick one for the camera. God bless you all. Hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You know, the tradition to which
So,
holds.
where's Bob today? He's not coming.
I don't think he's coming until New Year's Eve. I'll fill in his staff up.
I was gonna debate with him about the Prophet's marriage to Aisha.
Well, I don't really argue in terms of morals or history. That's a different vocation for another person.
him, not you.
But once we talk about this
Not you, him.
recent question or inquiry I have about Islam, I also want to very quickly talk about the Qira'ats within Islam, and then we can conclude our conversation. Or if you have an issue with the philosophy of Christianity, which I have a vocation in, and which I've been investigating Islam, you can pose me that question.
I said Bob, not you.
Yeah, obviously. I just want to make that very clear. I do not have a vocation in
I
morality.
never said it.
Yeah, so Quran chapter 3 verse
It says
55.
here, when Allah said, "Oh Jesus, I will take you and raise you to myself, and I will wait, let me finish, and I will deliver you from those who disbelieve." So when he says to myself,
Yes.
it's talking about the nearest to Allah, which is the heaven.
Where are you getting that in the text?
Does Allah share the same glory with people? The same above the throne? Does Allah do it?
Say
Does
that
He
again?
do it? Does Allah?
Again, you're assuming.
Hang on.
You're assuming the text is going to be.
You're assuming
Yes.
as well.
No.
I'm not assuming because I
So
know.
so the hermeneutics of the Quran is that you read the verse in relation to how the verse was revealed itself. You don't actually have to appeal to the holistic reading of the Quran itself in order to actually indicate whether the text is true or not. That's my first point. My second point is just going to be that your refutation of my argument is just assuming the Quran is truthful to itself, therefore it necessarily gives an account for how the Quran is truthful. Thirdly, it says, I will raise myself up to myself, and I'd like you to give a refutation of that verse within the text itself and not a later commentary or extrapolation of the text.
So, in Surah 10:18.
Yes. All to say.
Hang on.
So while he's looking for that, I'm just going to detail the critique that I have recently discovered about Islam. I don't believe Islam is consistent on its definition of what death is and its application within the Sunni tradition itself. Now, initially, he defined death as the separation of body and soul. But according to the Sunni tradition, the separation of body and soul takes place whilst you're sleeping, which would then mean the principle of material life, the soul, is separated with the body whilst you're sleeping, which entails that you are dead when you're asleep.
In Islam, we have two different types of death.
Yes.
The proper death, where you don't come back, and the temporary death.
Wait, hold on. What's resurrection?
Resurrection is that when your soul returns back to you. But let me finish.
Yes.
Let me finish. Okay. Resurrection is, for instance, when Allah decides to take your life permanently. Okay. And then later, He revives your soul back to your body.
Well, so if you're saying, I just want to go back to. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue. I'm stuck on point one.
I haven't finished.
I'm stuck on point one.
I haven't finished.
Okay.
That's what it means.
Yes.
But if you're sleeping, your soul gets separated from you, temporarily, and it comes back to you. So in Islam, we have permanent death, which you never come back. And temporary death, which is when you're asleep.
So if I were to
that one is when Jesus.
I'll put a question. If I were to get shot in the brain, right, I die. Is that a temporary death, or is it a definite death?
Like when you die, proper death.
Yes, proper death.
That's a permanent one.
Okay. What is resurrection?
Resurrection is when your soul comes back to your body. But
when you move back, hold on. When you go back to a state of death to living, correct?
Yes,
right? Okay. So do I resurrect on Judgment Day?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that if I were to get shot in the brain, I would come back to life. I would permanently die. So permanent death is the definition of the separation of body and soul. For eternity, forever.
That's what I said in
Islam.
Islam.
Now, hold on. Resurrection takes part on Judgment Day when I am permanently dead, which means it contradicts itself because it's saying that death. Hold on. Proper death is when you die for eternity, right?
Yes.
But if that happens, that removes the possibility of resurrection, because resurrection posits that you reassume the state of living, which can't happen if you're dead forever.
It doesn't. Let me tell you why. I've already said this, and I said to you the reason why the one that is temporary is not resurrection, because Allah hasn't ordained you to die permanently. Okay, that one is a temporary one.
But you said
hang on.
resurrect. No, because you're being inconsistent.
No.
You said
hold
on. You said that if I permanently die, I die forever.
Yeah.
But for example, if I got shot in the head, that's death forever. But in this situation, I would also be resurrected to be judged.
Yes.
So if being dead forever entails a state of permanence in the condition of separation of body and soul, that then removes the possibility of a resurrection, because the resurrection seeks to assume the state of living, which is negated by the definition of a permanent death.
No.
Okay, so it's a very simple bonus ponens. If I permanently die, that means I cannot assume life itself. Would you agree?
Except if God allowed you.
Okay, now you're just being arbitrary and saying that God can do logical contradictions.
No. It's true that's contradicting it.
It is a contradiction, because you're saying that God ordains permanent death.
For instance,
but permanent death can also be assumed by resurrection.
Do you believe Jonah died? I'm going to give an example.
Okay.
I'm going to give an example because it's something similar.
Jonah did die, yes.
Did Jonah die or not?
Yes, he did die.
He did die?
Yes.
Proper death?
Yes, according to Jonah chapter 2 verse 2.
But yet he was praying while he was in the belly.
He was praying in hell.
What? He was praying hellfire. What the hell is wrong with you? Jonah was praying
he was in Hades.
In hellfire.
Yeah, he was in Hades.
So as Jesus was, the same topic, all right, about death here. It's the same topic. I'm not running away because it's in your Bible. So I don't
hold to the same definition of death.
I have to apply a similar standards to you.
Well, no, it's a two-quote quote if you do that, because I don't hold to the same position of death.
Okay.
Death is the separation of body and soul. But the reason why you have to adopt an idiosyncratic definition of death is because you say that the separation of body and soul takes part when you're sleeping as well.
So when you said Jonah was in hell, does that mean Jesus was in hellfire as well?
No, because we understand.
Jesus says,
we understand prior to one second.
Okay,
Now you're
Jonah was 3
getting.
days and 3 nights.
Yes.
So the Son of Man did as well.
Yeah. So.
Was he also in hellfire?
Well, we have the tradition of the hallowing of Hades, which posits that Christ goes down to hell to assume every believer that would actually had salvation if the crucifixion of our Lord was enacted at the time of their
So you
death.
believe Jesus was in hellfire?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. You hear me, guys? This guy believes Jesus was in hellfire.
I believe my God penetrates everywhere. You can't. God is everywhere. I believe that. You believe God is nowhere.
No, we believe.
God is in hell, he's in heaven, and he's on earth.
No, we believe, God doesn't go to certain places. He doesn't go to certain places.
But he creates them.
He creates them.
But he's not there.
But okay, can you create this?
Yes.
Can you enter in it? See how small it is.
I can modify and utilize it, yeah,
No,
sure.
but for now, can you enter in it?
Yeah, but this is not analogous because you're then saying that how I possess and edit items is going to be identical for how God possesses and edits items. But now, hold on, we're going off topic.
Okay,
So, let's go back to my
I can't
critique.
believe you said Jesus was in hellfire.
My God's in hell. What's wrong with that? Now,
I don't believe Jesus
so
was in hellfire.
we can. How about this? Because this conversation is getting nowhere. I suppose that I finished my argument for what I was saying. Then I want to go to a very quick critique of the Qira'at. Then you can ask me a philosophical question on Christianity. So, my critique is really, if you say the definition of death, there's two distinct types of death. Improper death, where you are, for an episode, separated your body and soul for a period of time. Or proper death, which posits that you're dead for eternity, forever. From the time that you are officially dead, onwards and onwards.
Until
If you say that,
until day of judgment.
oh, now you're changing your definition.
No, I want to clarify from you. Is that what you meant?
Well, okay, so what's then the difference between improper death and proper death if both posit that you're going to be dead for a certain period of time?
Sorry, can you repeat?
If you're saying there's an episode of time to which you are dead in both definitions, and both definitions are identical, that then means improper death equals proper death.
No, it doesn't. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Because God decides that.
Now you're just appealing. This is my problem. Because whenever I critique this, you're just going to appeal to an arbitrary, mystic separation of the definitions from like God separating the two different words. Even though I don't find anywhere in the literature proper and improper death being used.
So if God.
So I finished my argument to the camera because now this conversation, as it pertains to this argument, is fruitless.
Because you can't make any points. That's why.
Okay, well, how about this? All the people in the camera can actually come to a conclusion of whether my critique is valid. Because according to them, sleeping would mean that they're dead.
Okay, let's move on
Now,
to the topic. Can I ask you something now?
Unless it's a vocation in philosophy and metaphysics.
Can I ask you something now?
What?
Because you've asked me a question.
That's fine. Now, I wanted to very quickly talk about the Qira'at, if that's fine.
Go on,
Okay, so you have... So you say there's, what, 10 Qira'ats, correct? Qira'at, yes. Okay. So when you say, for example, the halves is the Walsh, is this an is of identity statement or an is of predication statement? So what I mean by this is an is of identity statement is that what we identify with the Quran is the halves, and is of predication statement is what we predicate of the halves is the Quran.
Now, when it comes to that, when it comes to the Qira'at,
Yes.
I tend not to talk about it much because my knowledge is not that much aware of it. So
Okay, that's absolutely fine.
Honestly, I will speak to people about my religion a lot. I have looked into it, but I'm not ready yet to talk about it.
That's
when
fine.
I'm ready, I'll talk about it.
Do you have any issues of philosophy that I can potentially handle with in terms of Christianity?
For now, when it comes to that, I can't talk about that. But I can ask you a question now.
Go for it. Go for it.
Do you believe the Holy Land belongs to the Jews?
No.
Who do you think it belongs to?
Currently, it's just going to be an issue of politics. Now, when we speak of Israel, the modality of that word, or rather the referent of what that means, changes. So when we say Israel, it's going to be referring to the ethnic people of Judah, which were God's chosen people in the Old Testament. Then it changed because according to Genesis 5, all the people of all the nations should know God and His kingdom, right? This then changes to which the Gentiles were put into the fold of Christianity.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, if you believe the land doesn't belong to the Jews, that's fine.
Well, no, so again, I'm not political because I'm 16 and I talk about religion.
I'm talking about religion, not politics. In terms of theology.
Yeah, I don't believe the current Jews, what you would refer to as Jews, have a right to Israel theologically. Now, if they want to make an issue of archaeology, if they want to make a claim of history that they have rights to that land, that's fine. That's not concerning me who speaks on religion.
I agree with you, theology-wise, the land doesn't belong to them. Because I've heard some Christians say that, that's why I'm asking you. So we agree on that, that's fine. So, when it comes to Bible,
yes.
you believe Bible is a consistent word of God without any contradictions?
Yep.
How do you reconcile with Ahaziah being 22 years old and 42 years old when he became a king?
Because if you look at the different traditions of the Torah, right, the Septuagint, which Christ reads in Luke chapter 4 verse 10, actually renders his age at 22 in both Kings and Chronicles.
That's not true because I've checked the Hebrew Bible.
Yeah, so there's different traditions.
Let me finish.
I'm not referring to the Hebrew Bible.
Let me finish.
Yes.
This, right? Because in the Hebrew Bible, I've checked it there because I spoke to a Jewish guy before, and then he directed me to check it there. We're talking about a different topic, by the way.
No, we're talking about different traditions.
No.
So hold on, you're mischaracterizing what the Torah is.
You, I said that Jewish guy.
Wait, I don't care, I'm not a Jew, nor is the Jewish guy that you're talking to going to identically represent the position of the Jews themselves. So there are different traditions of the Torah. There's a Greek Septuagint, which was translated in Hebrew, it's 200 BC, which Christ reads from in Luke chapter 4 verse 10, right? And in this reading, it renders his age at 22. Now, it's only in the Messianic tradition that we find his age is at 22 and 44.
When you say Messianic, you mean Messianic?
Yeah, the 5th century tradition of the Torah has that scribal error because letters were instead of numbers.
Yeah, but many people still accept it.
Yeah. And what they're going to say is that it is a scribal error. Using contextual evidence of the Septuagint, they can say it's 22.
I'm glad you accept there's an error because some people try to defend it and say that's like.
Yeah, so there's some study Bibles that would say that he was kidnapped.
I've seen that.
I think it's sort of a cope. But to say there is issues of textual variance, that is obviously going to be correct in what the Bible and what it is in terms of its veracity. Now, if that's all your questions, do you want to call it a day? God bless, bro.
Take care. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, bro.
I'm disappointed, man.
Well, Bob's got to go on break at some point, doesn't he? Yeah, maybe next year. Well, I don't know. I'm not Bob, so I don't know what to do. Good to see you, bro.
Have a good Christmas, yeah?
Have a Merry Christmas.
Even though I don't celebrate it, I'm going to wish you well, right?
Yeah, well, I wish you well as well, and I wish you a Merry Christmas. So, there are a few issues, obviously. Oh, I thought you were... Sorry. Okay. Oh, sorry, mate.
You're taking up on my spot.
Sorry. Well, I think that's it. I think the video is pretty self-explanatory as it comes to my criticism and it comes to my answers. So as it pertains to the scribal error, I'd recommend everyone read the Septuagint writings of the Torah, which renders his age at 22. And as it pertains to the Israeli claims to Jewish land, that's going to be political and not religious. Besides from that, have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.